The firelight casts dancing, distorted shapes on the cave wall. But they are not the only shadows. In the deep, quiet parts of the cave, where the air is still and cool, new shadows are being born. Ori, a youth with clever hands and eyes that see the world differently, is painting. He uses charcoal for the black outlines, manganese for the deep violets of a stormy sky, and rich, red ochre for the blood and life of the beasts. The breathtaking menagerie of the great creatures that dominate their lives. The curve of a mammoth's tusk, the muscular haunch of a bison, the terrifyingly intelligent eye of a raptor. This is the clan's first true cave art, and for most, it is a miracle. The others gather in awe, tracing the lines with their fingers, murmuring about the magic that allows a boy to capture the spirit of a beast with colored dirt. They see a tribute, a prayer, a way to understand the terrifying power of the world around them. But Borokay sees only waste. He is the clan's late hunter, a man whose hands are calloused from the spear, whose face is a roadmap of scars from 100 desperate fights. He is a creature of pure, brutal pragmatism. He watches Ori from the mouth of the cave, his expression a thundercloud of disapproval. He sees the precious animal fat burning in the tallow lamp to light or his work, fat that could be rendered for a lean winter. He sees the hours Ori spends grinding pigments, hours that could be spent tanning hides or napping flint. Shadows? He grunts to the hunter beside him, his voice full of contempt. He catches shadows while the clan's bellies are half empty. The other hunter, mesmerized by the image of a charging stegosaurus on the wall, just shakes his head in wonder. It is a great magic, Borokay. Borokay spits on the ground. The only magic that fills a stomach is a sharp spear. This is the central conflict, a schism in the soul of these Homo habilis. It is the birth of a debate that will echo through the ages, the practical versus the profound. For Borokay, the world is a simple equation of calories expended versus calories gained. Anything that does not contribute to that equation is a liability. For Ori, the world is more than a hunt, it is a thing of terrible beauty. And his art is a way to hold that beauty still, to understand its shape. Borokay confronts the boy. He holds up his calloused hand, the hand of a provider, of a killer. "This is real," he says, his voice a low growl. He then points a thick finger at the magnificent mural. "That is a lie. A picture of a bison is not a bison. It is a gun. We cannot eat dreams, boy." Ori, his fingers stained with pigment, looks from the hunter's hard face to the vibrant life on the wall, and for the first time, he has no answer. This is the emotional turning point, the moment the artist is forced to question the value of his own creation in a world that only values the kill. The belly is a cruel master. The awe inspired by Ori's art cannot fill it. The clan's hunters, led by Borokay, set out to track a herd of Prehistoric. Their low, mournful calls a promise of meat on the bone. But the territory they hunt is also claimed by a new, lethal intelligence. A pack of Deinonychus, smaller than the Utauraptors of old legends, but infinitely more cunning, has been shadowing them for days. They are a coordinated pack of feathered killers, their sickle claws moving in perfect, terrifying concert. The hunt is an exercise in frustration. Every time the hunters get close, the raptors create a diversion, a sudden shriek from the undergrowth, a fainting charge that sends the herd stampeding away in chaos. The raptors are not trying to steal the kill, they are outthinking the hunters, treating them as a rival pack to be harassed and starved out of the territory. The hunters return day after day, their hands empty, their hands empty, their hands empty, their nerves frayed. They are being bled, not by a direct confrontation, but by 1,000 clever cuts. On the third day, the trap is sprung. Borokay, desperate, pushes his hunters into a risky pincer movement through a narrow, rocky defile. But the raptors have anticipated it. They use the terrain against them, with two members of the pack creating a disturbance at the far end, drawing the hunters' attention, while the rest swarm a lone hunter who has been sent to flank the herd. His scream is short, cut off with sickening finality. The hunt collapses. The hunters retreat, carrying their dead, leaving the scattered herd to the victorious raptors. Borokay's grief is a cold, hard rage. He storms back into the cave, the body of the fallen hunter a grim testament to his failure. He sees Ori, adding a touch of yellow ochre to the mane of a cave lion, and the rage finds its target. He grabs the boy by the arm, dragging him to the center of the cave. "This is your fault," he roars, his voice echoing in the cavern. "Their heads are full of your magic shadows. They dream of killing the painted lion instead of watching for the real claw in the grass." He throws Ori to the ground before the assembled clan. This is the community point, the moment the simmering conflict erupts into a public trial. "We are hunters," Baroque bellows, his voice cracking with emotion and fury. "We survive by what we see, what we kill. This is a disease." He points a trembling, blood-stained finger at the mural. "It is a waste of our fat, our time, our very minds. It makes us soft." He turns to the elders, his eyes burning. "Do we follow the path of the shadow? We cannot walk both." This is his brutal lesson in resource management, framing the clan's very souls that is being squandered. The clan is silent, caught between the stark, bloody reality of Baroque's grief and the strange, undeniable pull of the images on the wall. The price of Ori's pictures, it seems, has been paid in blood. Ori is ostracized, confined to the back of the cave, his pigments and charcoal sticks scattered in the dust. The clan, swayed by Baroque's grief and the hard logic of an empty stomach, turns its back on him. The beautiful mural is now a monument to his failure, a source of shame. He watches the hunters leave each morning, their faces grim and determined, and return each evening, their shoulders slumped in defeat. The Deinonychus pack is a ghost they cannot catch, a razor in the grass they cannot see until it is too late. The clan is slowly starving, besieged by an enemy too smart to be fought with brute force alone. As Ori sits in the shadows, his shame slowly gives way to a familiar, obsessive focus. He is not a hunter, but he has the eyes of one. He begins to listen intently to the hunter's frustrated retellings of the day's failures. They speak of the raptors as a chaotic, unpredictable force, a whirlwind of claws and teeth. But Ori, his mind accustomed to finding patterns, to seeing the underlying structure of things, he hears a rhythm. He picks up a piece of charcoal. He cannot hunt with them, but he can think with them. On a clear patch of stone, away from his grand mural, he begins to sketch. This is his act of altruism, his desperate bid to prove that his gift is not a liability, but a weapon. He sketches the terrain of the valley as described by the hunters. He uses small, sharp marks for the raptors, recreating their movements from the scattered accounts. A picture emerges. The pack is not chaotic. He sees how one Duromai are so rid. The alpha female with the scarred crest always takes the high ground. He sees how two smaller males always work in concert to flush the prey. He sees how the others lie in a perfectly placed ambush, a sickle-shaped trap. The hunters have been fighting the claws. They have not been fighting the mind that guides them. This is the birth of abstract thought as a tactical tool. He has taken fragmented, linear stories and translated them into a single, cohesive image, a map of the enemy's mind. He calls Baroque. The hunter comes, his face a mask of contempt, ready to dismiss the boy's SC rollings. But Ori does not speak of magic or spirits. He speaks the language of the hunt. "You see them as a storm," Ori says, his voice steady, pointing to the diagram. "But they are a spear. These two are the shaft. The others are the weight that drives it home. You have been fighting the shaft. You need to break the point." Baroque stares at the drawing. He, who has lived his entire life in the world of the real, is suddenly seeing the unseen. He is seeing the enemy's strategy, laid bare in a few charcoal lines. The boy has not painted a beast. He has painted a plan. It is a staggering leap of intellect, and in that moment, Baroque's world is turned upside down. The hunter in the paint is not a spirit. The next day the hunters go out. They do not hunt the Periseurolophs. They hunt the hunters. Following Ori's map, they ignore the decoys, bypass the flanking parties, and climb the high rocks to face the alpha female directly. The battle is short, brutal, and decisive. Without its head, the pack is just a collection of confused, vulnerable individuals. They scatter into the wilderness, their hold on the valley broken. That night, the clan eats. The mood is not triumphant, but quiet, contemplative. Barrow K walks to where Ori sits. He does not apologize. Instead, he places the magnificent, sickle-shaped claw of the raptor alpha in Ori's hand. "You have a strong spear, boy," he says, his voice a low rumble. He looks at the grand mural, then back at the simple, brutal diagram on the floor. "Teach me how to see the shadows," he says. It is the moment the hunter understands that the greatest tool for survival is not the one you hold in your hand, but the one you hold in your head. The paintings on the cave wall are no longer just magic. They are memory. They are knowledge. They are knowledge. They are strategy. Barrow K, the pragmatic hunter, did not lose his argument. He had it expanded. He learned that survival is not just about filling the belly today, but about understanding the world in a way that allows you to fill it tomorrow. Ori's art became the clan's first library, the place where the lessons of the hunt were recorded, studied, and improved upon. When beauty became a blueprint, it is a pivotal step in the journey of Homo sapiens, the discovery that our ability to represent the world allows us to change our relationship with it, to move from being merely a participant in the brutal calculus of life and death to becoming its analyst. We are the storytelling animal, not because we enjoy a good tale, but because the ability to construct a narrative, to see the pattern in the chaos, is the most powerful survival tool the world has ever known. To see the world is to survive it. To understand the world is to conquer it. And on a distant shore, a different kind of artist begins to arrange shells in a pattern that has no meaning, other than that it is beautiful.